I'm going to show you a $200 chair, a $2,000 chair, and some chairs in between, but all of these chairs can be better than the Herman Miller Aeron. I've used and sold thousands of office chairs, which includes the Aeron, but I would never recommend an Aeron to someone who has never used a mesh seat before. We don't sell new Aerons, but we do sell refurbished models, and the Aeron has the highest return rate out of any chair we sell, and it's because of that mesh seat design. My first and least expensive pick is going to get you away from that hard frame mesh seat design and get you into a padded fabric seat. For under $300, the best option I've found is the Tacova ergonomic chair, which regularly sells discounted for $100 to $200. Now, this is a cheaper chair, so it won't compare to the high-end build from the Aeron or the amazing warranty from Herman Miller, but it offers good comfort with a mesh back for a tenth of the price. The backrest mesh won't come close to the quality on the Aeron, but it isn't abrasive, and because the frame is more flexible than the Aerons, I actually find it to be more comfortable for moving and stretching. The padding on the seat is nothing to write home about, but it offers more comfort for me than that hard frame and the mesh on the Aeron. The Tacova also comes with a two-way adjustable headrest and a good recline for the price. If you're able to bump the budget to the $500 range, then you start to get into some good mid-market options, and my go-to pick here is the Eurotech Vera. It's a solid chair from a reputable manufacturer, and it has a good warranty. The Vera won't have a high-end look or feel like the Aeron, but I do find it to be more comfortable in a couple areas. The Aeron definitely has more comfortable arms, the ranges are better, and the pads are way softer, but I much prefer the seat and the back on the Vera. The seat has good padding, a large area, and no hard edges like the Aeron. This is definitely one of the most comfortable seats you will find at this price point. Same goes for the back. While the mesh is more abrasive than the Aeron, it has good elasticity, and the shape of the back is perfect to really cradle me and support my entire back. You also get a solid synchro-tilt recline mechanism, certainly not Aeron level of comfort, but still very good for the price that you're paying. The Herman Miller Veris is a great option if you're looking for something in that $600 to $800 range. Now, the Veris is a Herman Miller chair, but it's less than half the price of an Aeron, so it isn't going to be comparable when it comes to build quality, but that doesn't mean it's a low-quality chair. This is still a Herman Miller product. It's well built for the price, you get an amazing warranty, it's just not one of the most well-built chairs in the world like an Aeron. It does have a solid adjustment package though, with seat depth adjustment, multi-way arms, lumbar adjustment, and tilt options. The padded seat doesn't have the highest end foam, and I do question how long it will last, but I still think it is more comfortable than the seat on the Aeron. I find the backrest to be supportive, and it's nice to get some lumbar height adjustment, which you don't get with the posture fit on the Aeron. Overall, this is just a really well-rounded, good bang for your buck type of chair that happens to come from the most reputable brand in the world. The Haworth Zodi is a chair I've used a ton this year, and I find it to be much more comfortable than the Aeron, and it can be had for under $1,000. The Zodi is also built like a tank, so you're getting a chair with similar build quality and similar longevity to the Aeron. The Zodi's padded seat is very similar to the Fern's, which is currently my #1 overall chair, so I much prefer this design compared to the Aeron's seat. While the mesh quality on the Zodi's back isn't up to the same standard as the pellicle mesh on the Aeron, it is still very nice, and I find it to be soft with good elasticity. The back frame on the Zodi, though, is where it really sets it apart from the Aeron because it is so much more flexible, and I put a ton of value in that because I do like to move around and stretch in my chair. The one thing that may be a deal breaker is the recline function. The full range is very nice and it's super smooth, but it's a unique system where you either have a forward mode or reclined mode, and it can be tough to find that neutral position that most chairs can achieve. While this doesn't bother me, I can see why it might be annoying for some, but overall, I think this is an amazing chair for the price. The Haworth Fern is currently my #1 overall chair, and so I think it needs to be considered if you're looking for chairs in the same price range of an Aeron. The Fern ditches the rigid design on the Aeron and instead promotes movement in the entire chair. The backrest is super flexible, and I find the 4-layer system to be softer, more form-fitting, and more comfortable overall as compared to the Aeron, Embody, or any other chair that I've tested. It has a traditional padded seat design, which I think is much better than the pulled mesh on the Aeron. It offers more consistent support across the entire seat, feels softer, and doesn't have hard edges, so you can comfortably use that entire seat. The recline is about as close as you're going to get from a non-Herman Miller chair. It's smooth, has a huge range, and feels really nice to use. You also get more adjustable arms on the Fern, having some of the most adjustable arms out there. This is also one of the few chairs that can match the look of an Aeron, being one of the nicest looking chairs in our entire office. For me, this is one of 2 chairs that I consider to be S tier. While it costs even more than the Aeron, the Herman Miller Embody gets rid of all of the problems that I have with the Aeron while keeping almost all of the positives. The biggest reason I can't use the Aeron is what we've talked about at length throughout the video, the rigid plastic seat frame design. The Embody goes away from this design without using a traditional pad. Instead, it uses a pixelated suspension system, which is super unique, offers really good flexibility, and I find it to be very comfortable. The back is similar, with the Aeron having a hard plastic frame and zero flexibility, and the Embody going away from that with a narrow back design that is ridiculously flexible, offering a ton of room to move and stretch. You also get the positives of an Aeron though. The Embody has a really high-end build, it looks really good, and you get the same amazing Herman Miller warranty, also a nice adjustment package with that silky smooth recline that makes Herman Miller chairs stand out from other brands. All of these reasons are why the Embody is currently my daily driver and why it's the only other chair I consider to be S tier along with the Hayworth Fern.